Okay, so if you're creating content online right now, you're basically standing in the wreckage of the last decade's playbook.
That's a strong way to put it, but yeah, it feels like that sometimes.
For years, it was just, well, simple, wasn't it? Right? Long articles, stuff in keywords, and then kind of.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. But that system, that whole traditional SEO blogging thing, it's pretty much obsolete now.
It really is. If your content isn't adapting to how people find information now, it's basically invisible.
So it's not just tweaking things, it's a whole new game.
A total redefinition, absolutely. And that's what we're digging into today, really looking at Michael Rennick's approach.
Yeah.
It shows exactly how to deal with this massive shift.
Michael Rennick.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he argues pretty convincingly, I think, that blogging isn't dead. What's dead is bad blogging. The kind that relies on, well, like you said, hope and chaos.
Right. So we're talking about the shift from SEO, search engine optimization, to GEO, generative engine optimization. That sounds significant.
It is. It's a fundamental difference.
So what's the main goal here for this deep dive? What are we trying to unpack?
We're really aiming to lay out Michael Rennick's complete GEO framework. The idea is to change how you think about content. It stops being just a writing activity.
Like checking a box.
Exactly. And it becomes this proactive, structured answer engine. Michael's model is really demanding. It insists your content has to be answer first, super clear, and structured perfectly for AI extraction, not just for humans reading it.
Answer first. Okay, that feels different. And it starts with how people are behaving, right? We're not just typing keywords anymore.
Not nearly as much. We're asking things. We're having conversations with ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, asking direct questions in plain English.
Yeah, I want the answer. I don't really want 10 blue links to sift through anymore.
Precisely. And that's the core of the SEO versus GEO contrast Michael Rennick highlights.
Yeah.
In the old SEO world, who won? Usually the person who wrote the most.
Right, longest articles, most keywords.
Yep.
Main authority built over years.
Yep. Google's traditional spiders crawled for relevance. Lots of words on a topic often signaled relevance.
But that often meant, well, fluff. Those long, rambling intros you had to scroll past to get to the actual point.
Exactly. But Michael Rennick's approach points out the GEO world rewards clarity. These generative models, they work differently. They don't care about the 2,000 words around the answer.
They just want the answer itself.
They're extraction machines. They're scanning for the single clearest, most confidently structured answer they can find. They're looking for confidence in the data, not just keywords.
Confidence. That's interesting. And we're seeing proof of this shift everywhere, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. It's mounting fast.
Yeah.
Look at Google's SGE, the Search Generative Experience. You get those AI summaries right at the top.
Pulled directly from one source sometimes.
Often, yeah. And think about user behavior. ChatGPT. It's
Yeah.
got, what, over 200 million weekly users now? And when it cites a source in its answer,
That site gets a traffic spike.
a huge one. And it's high-quality traffic because the AI has essentially vouched for that source's accuracy. Plus, look at Perplexity.
The AI native search engine.
Right. Built entirely on this generative answer-first principle. 0 to $1 billion valuation in like 18 months.
Mhm.
That kind of growth is purely driven by people demanding direct answers.
Wow, okay, that really drives home how much the old way is fading. Which brings us to something Michael Rennick calls the secret weapon for GEO, the long-tail keyword. That sounds kind of old-school SEO.
It does, but it's different now. The long-tail keyword is more powerful than ever because generative AI is brilliant at understanding nuance, at understanding natural human language.
Let's show.
Well, the old way might target a broad term like Miami condos. Okay, great, but you're fighting like 10,000 other pages for vague attention. Michael's approach says no. Target the specific question.
Can I rent my Miami Beach condo weekly, or does the building have a 30-day minimum? That kind of specific.
Exactly that kind of specific, that question. Maybe only 10 competitors are directly answering it. And the person asking that question isn't just browsing. They're deep in the decision process.
Ah, okay, so your content stops being this broad marketing net and becomes more like a surgical tool, solving a precise problem.
Precisely. Service-oriented, not just attention-grabbing.
Which means we need to stop creating content based on our agenda, right? Like
Right.
no more generic Q3 market updates unless someone is actually asking for that.
Yes, Michael Rennick really hammers this psychological shift. Your content stops being marketing and becomes actual service the second you frame it around a real question.
That's a powerful idea.
Think about it. When you start with a topic, you tend to write to teach. When you start with a question, you write to solve. It's a different mindset.
And to solve effectively, you need to know where the asker is mentally, right? Michael Rennick talks about these stages of search intent.
Absolutely. You have to meet them where they are. Think about how someone progresses. First, maybe they're in the awareness stage.
Just learning the basics.
Right. Asking, what is a conventional loan? They need simple, clear education. Your content there needs to be foundational. Then they move into consideration.
Comparing options.
Exactly. What are the pros and cons of FHA versus conventional? They're weighing things up. Your content needs to help them compare.
Okay, makes sense. Awareness, consideration. What's next?
Then you get to the really high-value stage, decision. This is where they ask, should I? Questions. Should I buy now before rates go up? Or is it smarter to refi or pay down my mortgage?
They have the knowledge, but they need validation, confidence.
That's exactly it. They need the confidence to act. And Michael Rennick stresses if your content isn't directly tackling those should I questions, you're missing the biggest conversion moments.
So how do we find these real questions people are asking? Michael Rennick says stop guessing, right? Start listening.
Yes, actively listen. And the good news is the signals are everywhere, often free.
Mhm.
Michael Rennick's approach leverages a few key tools. First, answer the public.
I've seen that one. It gives you those visual maps of questions.
Yeah, you type in a core topic, say home buying, and boom, it shows you the why, how questions people are actually typing into search engines. Things like, why is home buying so stressful?
Which your competitors writing polished blog posts are probably ignoring.
Totally missing that real pain point. And you don't even need paid tools. Google itself gives us so much intelligence.
The people also ask boxes and autocomplete.
Exactly. They're like a free, real-time focus group showing you exactly what users are thinking about next. But maybe the most potent source, according to Michael Rennick, is Reddit.
Reddit. Why Reddit?
Because it's anonymous. People ask the questions. They're too embarrassed or maybe too intimidated to ask their own agent or broker.
Oh, like, how do I fire my realtor without being a total jerk?
Yes. Or, is it normal my agent keeps pushing me to offer over asking without an inspection? These aren't just questions. They're raw fear, uncertainty, doubt.
Wow.
And if you address those head-on, transparently, you build incredible trust and authority way faster than any generic post ever could.
Okay, so we find the real, specific, high-intent question. Then what? The strategy flips to how we answer it, right? This is the answer-first mandate in Michael Rennick's framework. No more warm-up.
None. Zero. Michael's approach is adamant. Adopt the classic journalistic inverted pyramid. Forget easing into it. The most vital info comes first. Period. If someone asks the question, give them the answer. Immediately.
So back to that Miami Beach rental question. If that's the H1 title, the very first paragraph has to answer it directly.
Point blank. The first, say, 40 to 60 words need to deliver the core value. Something like, yes, weekly rentals are allowed in some Miami Beach buildings, but prohibited in others. Generally, buildings north of 63rd Street permit weekly stays, while those south often require 30-day minimums.
Wow. Immediate, specific, actionable.
That's the goal.
But wait, isn't that kind of brutal? What about keeping people on the page? The old SEO wisdom was about dwell time. Aren't we sacrificing that by giving the answer away instantly?
It might feel like a sacrifice, but Michael Rennick argues the rules have totally changed. Who cares about dwell time if the generative engine skips your content entirely because it couldn't find a clear, confident answer up front?
Oh, okay. So prioritize getting chosen by the AI over keeping a human reading for longer.
Exactly. This answer-first structure is vital for 3 reasons Michael points out. 1, it's optimized for AI extraction. 2, it respects the user, especially on mobile. That's like 68% of searches who wants answers fast. 3, it specifically targets Google's featured snippets.
That little box at the top, position 0.
Right, you're writing to be maximally useful and extractable, not to game a metric like dwell time that's becoming less and less important in this new world.
Okay, usefulness. And that goes beyond just text, right? Let's talk visuals. Michael Rennick talks about images not just as decoration, but as actual proof.
Yeah, this is really smart. It taps into something called dual coding theory from cognitive science. Basically, information that's encoded both verbally and visually is remembered way better.
How much better?
Sources suggest up to 6 times longer. So if your content is explaining something complex, like the difference between FHA and conventional loans, don't just write 3 dense paragraphs.
Show it.
Show a clean, simple, maybe color-coded comparison table. It makes it instantly understandable.
It reduces the mental effort for the reader, right? They don't have to hold all the details in their head while reading.
Exactly. Or, if you're talking about those Miami Beach rental zones, include a simple map, color-coded to show the 30-day versus 7-day areas. That's immediate visual proof.
Hmm.
It builds trust because they see it. They don't just have to take your word for it.
Okay, this is all starting to form a picture. We've got the question, the answer first structure, the visual proof. How does Michael Rennick's complete framework pull all this together into one post that actually, well, works, that ranks, converts, and makes you look like the expert?
Right. The framework Michael lays out is really specific, and it starts even before the human sees the page. Part 1 is technical, aimed squarely at the AI passport, or JSON-LD.
JSON-LD JavaScript object notation for linked data. Sounds technical. Why is this so crucial?
Think of it like an official ID badge or a machine-readable CV for that specific piece of content. It lives in the page's code, invisible to us, but it's the first thing the AI sees.
And what does it tell the AI?
It uses structured data to say, essentially, hey, ChatGPT, this is an article. It was written by Michael Rennick, who's an expert on Miami real estate. It was published on this date. And this specific sentence right here is the direct, confident answer to the question it addresses.
Whoa. So it's defining the content and asserting authority before a human even reads the headline.
Precisely. It removes ambiguity. It's preemptive authority signaling for the machines. That's part 1. Part 2 is the actual structure of the blog post body that the human reads, and Michael mandates a very specific sequence.
Okay, walk me through that sequence. What does the ideal GEO post look like according to Michael Rennick?
Okay, starts with the H1 title. It has to be the exact user question, no variations.
Got it.
Directly below that, the direct answer paragraph. We talked about the immediate value, 40, 60 words.
Yeah.
Then, critically, a bulleted answer. Same core information as the paragraph, but in bullet points. This is super scannable for humans and makes extraction even easier for AI.
Okay, bullets. Then what?
Then comes the expanded explanation. This is where you can add context, details, nuance. But after the core answer is delivered,
Where does social proof fit in? Testimonials.
strategically placed. Michael's approach puts the first testimonial right after that initial chunk of explanation.
Oh, interesting. Not at the very bottom.
No, the idea is, as the reader digests the core info, you immediately reinforce their confidence with proof that you deliver results. It becomes part of the narrative flow.
That's clever. It validates the answer they just got.
Exactly. Then you might have more detailed explanation, followed by a second testimonial for another dose of reinforcement, and then a very clear, unambiguous call to action. No vague, learn more stuff. Tell them exactly what to do next.
Educate, prove, guide. Okay, that structure makes sense.
Yeah.
But doing all the research, the structure, the JSON-LD, the visuals consistently sounds like a ton of work. Consistency is always the killer, isn't it? How does Michael Rennick address the blank page fear and actually get this done at scale? Does AI write it all?
That's the nuance. He uses AI as a powerful partner to scale the expertise, not replace it. It's about removing friction. He outlines this really efficient 4-step automated content pipeline.
Okay, I'm listening. 4 steps. What are they and how fast are we talking? Because honestly, the idea of AI writing a good localized post quickly, I'm a bit skeptical.
Understandable. But the time allocation is key, according to Michael Rennick's approach. Step 1, question discovery. Takes about 5 minutes. Use AI to brainstorm, say, 20 specific high-intent questions relevant to your niche or market.
Okay, 5 minutes for ideas. Plausible. Step 2.
Content generation.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes. Here, AI drafts the post following the mandatory structure. It writes the H1, the direct answer paragraph, the bullet points, maybe a basic expansion. It builds the compliant frame.
Ah, okay, so the AI is creating the skeleton, ensuring it meets the structural rules.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But it's still generic at this point.
Yeah.
Step 3 is where the human expert adds the value, the soul. This is localization and personalization. Michael budgets about 20 minutes for this.
20 minutes. That's where the skepticism kicks in. Is that enough to make it not sound like AI wrote it?
This is where the expert's efficiency matters. You're not writing from scratch. You're weaving in your specific knowledge. Local codes, examples from recent deals you did, neighborhood insights, personal anecdotes, maybe correcting an AI inaccuracy, things AI can't possibly know. This step is what makes it authoritative and unique, not generic.
Okay, so the human effort shifts entirely to the highest value parts, adding the expertise, the local flavor, the personality.
Exactly. You're not fighting the blank page or worrying about structure. You're purely enhancing and validating. The final step, step 4, is technical optimization. About 5 minutes. AI generates the JSON-LD schema based on the content and maybe drafts alt text for images.
So the bulk of the human time is spent adding irreplaceable expertise, not on the grunt work of ideation or basic structuring.
That's the core idea. Michael Rennick believes this process makes consistency effortless, and consistency is what compounds into authority over time.
It sounds like his philosophy boils down to something like AI doesn't replace relationships.
AI removes everything that gets in the way of relationships.
Yeah.
It frees you up to actually connect with clients by ensuring your expertise is constantly, consistently visible online.
Okay, pulling it all together then. Michael Rennick's approach seems to successfully shift blogging away from that old SEO game of just chasing attention.
And towards a new GEO model focused on providing certainty, providing service, being the verifiable answer.
And when your content is built that way, structured for clarity and confidence, you stop chasing leads.
The claim is that leads start finding you because your expertise is just so undeniably present and helpful.
That ties into something you mentioned Michael Rennick focuses on, FAQs. You said they're a conversion engine, more than just Q&A.
Way more. Think about it. When structured using these GEO principles, FAQs aren't just a list on a page. They are essentially conversations you're having with prospects at scale. They're objections you're handling proactively before they're even fully formed in the prospect's mind. They're trust you're building before you ever speak to someone.
Handling objections in advance, building trust before the meeting. That preemptive clarity feels like a massive advantage in this new generative age.
It really could be.
Which brings up the final question, really, for you, the listener. Are you ready to actually build that advantage? The sources we looked at mention a 30-day action plan to implement Michael Rennick's approach. And the very first step is pretty straightforward. Get the tool set up, maybe answer the public or just use Google, and find 20 of those high-intent, specific questions for your market. Do it today.
There's really no time like the present.
Exactly. As they say, the best time to start was probably a year ago. But the second best time, it's right now.